something that you can do very easily at any time in the day. And when we start to kind of tap into the two different breathing techniques, when we go into the meditation later, we'll explore that and we'll go a little bit deeper as well.
Okay.
So yeah,
You're
how does
cutting
that
in.
sound?
Yeah, it's fine. You're cutting in and out a little bit, but it's not too bad. So
Okay,
hopefully it'll be all right.
great.
Good.
So, well, maybe everyone should go on mute then
Yeah, do you
for
want to mute
now.
yourself, guys? Because it is
Yeah, that
quite.
might be a little
I've
bit.
done Annabelle with you, because otherwise it's quite.
Yeah, that might be like background
Yeah.
static noise from people as well.
I'm going to mute you, Kim. I've just seen you.
Thank you.
Jacqueline, I'm going to mute you. I've done it. Let's see what else is on. Viv, I'll mute. Oh, I can't mute. Otherwise, right, I've muted. Yeah. Viv, can you mute
I
yourself?
can't see you though.
Are you stuck? Do you want to go out and come back in, but mute yourself? Oh, you're moving now. I can't mute you. Can you mute yourself, please? Jamie's stuck. Oh no, you haven't. There you are.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Viv, I do need you to mute yourself because it's quite. If you can. Right, yeah, go, Jamie. Sorry, I'll keep an eye
That's
on
all
it.
good. Cool. Hello, and thank you for joining. And it's so lovely to see all of your faces, right? Especially in this time right now. It's just so nice to have some semblance of human contact, even if it's through a screen. So thank you for your presence and thank you for joining. So just a little bit of an introduction into who I am in case some of you hadn't seen the Facebook Live that Louise and I did. My name is Jamie Tan at Enlightened Spoon. I am a wellness coach and I help busy, overworked, overstressed people with their diet and nutrition, fitness and movement, and overall lifestyle, so that they're able to spend less time in the kitchen or gym, but still more energized, maybe lose a little bit of weight, and generally feel a little bit more on top of their business. So the whole idea is to do less to achieve more, and that's kind of really like the world that I embody. So I'm here today in my capacity as a yoga and meditation teacher, which I do as well. I mean, I'm also a trained nutritional therapist. So before we go into today's meditation, maybe a show of hands in the chat box. If you can go and zoom on the bottom where the chat is, sort of what your experience is with meditation. 3 options: A, complete newbie, never done it before; B, kind of sort of tried it before, dabbled in maybe some meditation apps like Headspace or Calm or Insight Timer; C, you have an established meditation practice. So A, total newbie, never done it; B, kind of sort of have some sort of experience but not quite regular regular practice. Cool, great. So lots of A, B's. That's really good for me to get a sense. Very nice. Okay, so the word meditation or mindfulness, is sometimes it's sort of it's referred to. I feel like these days sometimes has a little bit of a dirty word connotation, or people kind of have a bit of an aversion to it because it sounds like it could be a little bit too woo or too, like, spiritual, whatever the word means. But essentially, the way I see it and the way I interpret it is meditation is simply a practice that allows you to sit and connect with yourself. Just as you have been doing today with your journaling session, just as you do every day in your 10-minute Pilates sessions with Louise, for me, meditation really is just another tool that you can use to and just be with whatever might be present with you in that present moment, right? There is a really beautiful quote from this Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu that goes something along the lines of, and I'm paraphrasing here, but something along the lines of, you're depressed if you're living in the past, you are anxious if you're living in the future, but you are at peace if you're living in the present. And I think that's such a beautiful embodiment of really what is right here now in this present moment. And that's really, for me, what a meditation practice is all about. Yeah. Thanks, Louise. Cool. So knowing that everyone sort of kind of dabble in it, kind of not really, I want to make this as easy and accessible for everyone as possible. So the practice that we'll be doing later, you can feel free to lie down, right? But maybe before we go into that, I'd like to do two separate breathing techniques with you, because it's a really easy, simple thing that you can do in 1 minute or 2 minutes. Anytime you start to feel a little bit nervous or stressed or anxious, and you start to feel like, oh, there's all this, you know, stuff that's stuck, you can very easily take it back to these two breath techniques that I'll be teaching you now. So if you are sitting down on the floor, maybe lean against something, especially if you're not familiar, if you're not used to sitting on the floor. You want to be comfortable, right? It's most important to be comfortable. If you're sitting on a chair, feel free to sit on a chair as well. So if you're working away on your computer at the kitchen counter or the dining table, you can do this right from your chair, as long as both your feet are flat on the floor. So if your legs are not long enough, maybe you want to put a thick book or a file folder underneath your feet as well. So most of us are kind of sitting up. So if we're sitting, let's try to root our sitting bones into the floor and starting to feel a long line of extension up the spine. Right, you can place your hands either on your lap or on the floor beside you, and maybe starting to close your eyes. So as you sit here, closing your eyes, maybe rolling the shoulders back a couple of times. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. 2 more times. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. 1 last time. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. And starting to drop into a place of stillness. So as you sit or lay here with your eyes closed, you a sense of curiosity today and openness, opening into what might be here for you today, and just opening into this experience. And starting to tune into the breath, just becoming aware of the inhales and exhales. Cool on the inhale and warm on the exhale. And wherever you're seated, feeling the surface beneath you, holding you, really grounding and rooting your sitting bones into the surface beneath you, and feeling a long line of extension all the way through the crown of your head. To feel the spine expanding all the way up and long. Now starting to tune into your breath. Starting to lengthen the exhales. And if it's helpful, perhaps placing your left hand on your heart and your right hand on your belly. And noticing where you might be breathing into. Is it the hand on your chest that's rising and falling only? Or is your belly also rising as you're inhaling? So a very simple, easy way to really drop into a more relaxed state is to start the breath from deeper in the bellies. So feeling the belly expanding front and back. Feel the breath expanding through the rib cage, through the sides, all the way up into the chest. And as you exhale, feel the left hand releasing, falls all the way down deep into the belly. So continuing to fill the belly up, front and back, sides as well, left and right. And really slow the breath down. Just continuing in your own time. And anytime you feel you need to continue expanding through your spine, so really grounding down through your sitting bones, and feel that long line of extension all the way through the crown of your head as you continue to breathe. This is your very first breathing technique that you can very easily tap into at any point in your day. Simply extending the length of your exhales and simply expanding from deep in your belly, deep belly breathing. Now, if you're starting to feel your focus wander or your thoughts start to wander, it's perfectly natural. And perhaps another technique to add on to this that you might like to try is counting down from number 7 to 1. So on the next inhale for 7, deep belly breathing. At the top of the inhale, starting to exhale for 7. Very slowly, with control. Inhaling for 6. Exhaling for 6. So continue to focus on the count of your breath, counting from 7 down to 1. Your thoughts may start to wander, but that's perfectly natural. And if you lose your count, start back again from the count of 7 and work your way back down to 1. If you've reached the count of 1, go back to the count of 7 and work your way back down again. Deep belly breaths. Feeling the expansion through the belly, the front body, back body, side bodies, through the rib cage in all directions. And then feeling the release as you exhale. Wherever you might be at, finishing your very last count, at the very next count, and then just releasing all count of the breath, releasing all control of the breath, and just sitting here for a few moments and feeling into the physical sensations that might be coming up for you. There's no judgment, no comparison, just watching. Everything just as it is. Very slowly, gently, starting to open and close your eyes a few times. And coming back as a group. So that is just one very simple technique. How is everyone feeling? I'm feeling a really nice, calm presence that everyone's in right now. Yeah, so this is a really easy way. When you start to slow down the breath and you start to breathe into the lower belly in the abdomen, that actually reduces your stress response. Your parasympathetic nervous system actually kicks in, right? You move more from your stress into your rest and digest mode. Good. So that is a very practical way that you can use this throughout your day. If you start to feel like you're getting kind of really anxious and you're really up in your thoughts, bringing it back into the breath. And the count is a really good way of just focusing your attention on something. Because sometimes, especially if we're new to this, if you're just noticing the breath, it's very easy for you to start to go back into the thoughts again. So when you start to count, it then gives your thinking mind something else to focus on rather than your thoughts, right? Cool. So the next thing we'll go into is a deeper meditation practice where we'll be going through breath sensing, like what we did just now. And then we'll also be going through a little bit of body sensing. So I'll just be calling out different body parts. We'll start from the top of the head and we'll move down all the way to the legs and the feet. And essentially, and there's nothing you need to do. When I call out those body parts, it's simply bringing your attention to that particular body part. You don't have to move it. You don't have to do anything with it. And by us doing that, when you focus your attention on the different body parts, that also starts to bring you more into a relaxation mode. So we're starting to stack different things on, right, with the breath sensing and then the body sensing. And then I'll lead you into something I call the inner resource. So there is this place inside of all of us that is our grounded, anchored center, right? And if you imagine the ocean, and if you imagine yourself as this big expanse of the ocean, your emotions and thoughts are like the top of the ocean where the waves are, right? And they're always fluctuating, and there's always going to be emotions and thoughts that come and go, right? And that's exactly what it is, right? But if you ground and root yourself down into the depths of the ocean, there's this quiet, grounded, still place, right? And that can happen at the same time. With all these fluctuating things that go on, there's still this you that's grounded and centered. And sometimes when we are living these busy lives that we have, there's a lot going on, and we're all the way up here in our thoughts, we forget how to bring ourselves back to this grounded, centered place of calm. So I'll be guiding you into finding this inner resource within yourself as well. So this is a place that you can come back to again, like, anytime during your busy day as well. So how does that sound? Fab. Okay. So for this practice, I would like to invite you all to lie down. You're completely welcome to sit up if you'd like to as well, but like if you have your Pilates mat, feel free to take that out. If you have a blanket to cover yourself with, that would be lovely too. And if you're laying down, I would suggest, if you want to take some pressure off your lower back, if you have a pillow or like a cushion from the sofa, to place it under your knees so that your knees are a little bit bent. Great. So if you have a yoga practice, you might recognize this as Savasana. We're essentially in Savasana, the corpse pose. So as you lay down, having your feet slightly wider than hip width apart, allowing your feet to flop out on either side of you. Having your palms beside your hips facing up towards the ceiling, slightly further away from you. Fabulous. You might like to tuck your chin in just a little bit so that you allow your thinking mind to come to a place of stillness as well. Beautiful. So as we start to move into this practice, just allowing your senses to be wide open. Mouth tasting. Ears hearing. There's no need to strain to listen to anything, but simply allowing the sounds from within the room, from outside the room, to just come to you. And even though you have your eyes closed, a sense of the space around you, just really opening all the senses, allowing the floor beneath you to hold you, feeling into the surface beneath you, touching you back. And perhaps starting to lengthen the exhale again to release into one layer deeper of relaxation. If there's an intention for today's practice that you'd like to start with, now's a good time to have an intention. And it could simply be, how do I want to feel after this practice? Is it a sense of peace, a sense of calm? And perhaps really stepping into this feeling of peace and calmness and embodying it as your intention for today's practice. Starting to lengthen the inhales and the exhales, deep belly breaths, exactly as we did before. And if you'd like to place your left hand on your heart and your right hand on your belly, you could do so as well to feel your belly rising and releasing. But there's no need to do that if you are completely comfortable where you are and just feeling into the sensations. Belly rising and feeling your back body as well, expanding into the floor as you inhale. And releasing as you exhale. A few more rounds of this deep belly breaths in your own time. If it's helpful, perhaps adding the count from 7 down to 1. So inhale 7, belly rising. Momentary pause at the end of the inhale. Exhale 7, belly releasing. Momentary pause at the end of the exhale. Inhale 6, belly rising. Pause at the top of the inhale. Exhale 6, belly releasing. Carrying on in your own count, all the way down to 1. At any point you lose the count, simply take yourself back to the count of 7 again and work your way down. And if you've come to the end of the count at 1, simply starting again at the count of 7 and working your way down. Deep belly breaths. Now finishing the count and exhale wherever you're at and meeting sensations within the body now. So sensing the mouth. Simply bringing your attention and focus to the mouth and your lips. Sensing the bottom of your mouth. Perhaps a little bit of relaxation in the lower jaw. insides of both cheeks, roof of the mouth, nostrils, tracing sensation up into the eyes, tracing sensations down the eyeballs, through the optic nerve and into the brain. And inside, sensing the forehead, top of the head, back of the head, back of the neck, shoulders, maybe even relaxing the shoulders just a little bit more. Tracing sensations down the left upper arm, left forearm, left hand, your entire left arm as radiant sensation. Really feeling into the physical sensation in the left arm. Now tracing sensations down the right arm, so the right upper arm, right forearm, right hand. Now sensing the entire right arm as radiant sensation. Now tracing sensation down the torso, belly, pelvis. Now moving down the left leg. So the left upper thigh, left shin and calf, left, your entire left leg. Radiant, vibrant sensation. Now moving focus over to the right leg. So tracing sensation down the right upper thigh, right shin and calf, right foot. Now sensing the entire right leg as radiant sensation. Now sensing the front of your body, from your feet all the way up to your face, the front side of your body as radiant sensation. Now feeling into the back side of the body. All the surfaces touching the floor beneath you as radiant sensation. Now switching back to the front side of the body again as radiant sensation. Now sensing the entire body as vibrant, radiant sensation. Into finding a quiet space within yourself. Finding your inner resource. And if it's helpful, perhaps If there's a place that you like to go to that brings up feelings of ease, comfort, security, this could be a place you know in real life, or perhaps somewhere in your imagination, or maybe even somewhere you've seen in a movie. Somewhere where you feel a grounded sense of well-being and being. Perhaps it's somewhere in nature, by the lake, forest, mountains. Perhaps somewhere indoors, your favorite room. Maybe a favorite person is there with you, or your favorite animal or plant. Really opening into this ease of being, expanding into this spaciousness. Now, if you're seeing this place, really step into this place and feel it come to life. If you're seeing it, what can you hear? If you're hearing it, what can you smell? Really bringing all of your senses to life, immersing yourself in this vibrant, warm sensation. And then now perhaps letting these images fall away and just really staying with this felt sense within you, the felt sense in the body of well-being and being. This is your inner resource, your grounded, anchored center. It's always within you, and it's always a place that you can come back to at any time during your busy day and throughout this practice as well. Welcome home. Noticing any changing emotions or thoughts that might be passing through. Know that they're just passing through. There's no need to get lost in any of the stories. Now dropping attention into the heart and the heart space. Feeling the sensations of your heart space from within your rib cage. Perhaps there's a warmth within the heart space, expanding through the rib cage. Sensing into a heartfelt sense of joy radiating out. Kindness and compassion. And perhaps even inviting in a sense of compassion or loving kindness or joy. Is there someone you might like to extend this heartfelt compassion to? And really feeling into this deep inner connection and sending this joy, loving kindness, and compassion out to this person. Maybe it's to your loved ones, your community, and expanding out into the whole world. If it's helpful, touching back into your feelings of well-being and being, or your inner resource. A moment of gratitude. Touching back into one thing that you might be grateful for today. It could simply be taking this time for yourself right now. A moment to touch back into this inner presence, this deep underlying essence of well-being and being. Feeling back into your grounded, anchored center. As you feel into these physical sensations, feeling this warmth and openness and spaciousness spread throughout the whole body. All the way through to your feet, to the crown of your head. A moment to touch back in with the intention you set at the start of this practice. Perhaps it's how you want it to feel at the end of this practice. Rested, still, at peace. And really embodying it. Embodying this feeling right now. Very slowly, in your own time, bringing your awareness back into this room again. Bringing your awareness back into the body. Maybe getting some movement through the fingers and the toes. If you'd like to give yourself a nice big stretch, inhaling, reaching the arms overhead and give yourself a nice big stretch. Opening and closing the eyes a few times, rolling over to your right side, and just laying here for a little bit with your eyes closed on the right side. And very slowly in your own time, bringing your way back up to a seated position as a group once again. Welcome back. I love seeing all your beaming faces. Wow, this is amazing. I'm feeling this positivity radiating through. It's amazing. You don't even have to say anything. I sense it. Thank you.
That was
Oh,
amazing.
great. I have a question from Sarah Sutton. I nearly fell asleep. How do you avoid that? Very natural that happens, especially if it's something that, even if you have an established practice, I mean, every day is different, right? And I think a lot of us are also going through a lot of transition right now, and we are all exhausted. And if you almost fall asleep, it might be because you really need that, So have a bit of compassion for yourself. And maybe that's just a little kick that you needed, 5-10 minutes, it's fine. Yeah. But also lying down, while it helps you to kind of take you out of the discomfort of, a seated practice, it could be easier to fall asleep as well. That's why if you tuck your chin in at the start of the practice, instead of allowing your head to drop back, is to really tuck the chin in. That helps to keep the conscious mind conscious. But even if you do fall away and fall asleep, it happens. And that's just part of the process as well. And every day is different. Some practices are going to be better than others, but there's no judgment. You know what I mean? It's a practice at the end of the day. Cool.
See you later.
Great. So does anyone have any questions? Yeah, I mean, if you have any sort of personal questions you don't really want to put in the group, I completely understand that. If you want to look for me on Instagram, I'm going to type my Instagram handle in here. So if you feel free to send me a direct message. Oh, I don't know if I can type here. There we go. That's who I am on Instagram. I am also in your Facebook group for this week, Jamie Tan. So feel free to also message me there.
Yeah, if you haven't joined, make sure you do.
Yeah,
I'll
exactly.
put that one. I've got to find that.
Yeah, so that's my Facebook wellness page as well, and that's the wellness page that's actually in Louisa's group as well. So if you want to ask me any questions, feel free to go ahead and ask me there. You can ask me more questions here too while we're here.
If anyone's got,
or maybe anyone would like to share how the experience was for you.
I'm not. Is anyone? Sorry, I'm off page. Here we go.
Should you always go to the same place, as in like the physical place of where you are meditating? Yeah. Ideally, yeah. I guess if you want to become more regular in a practice, it's always better from a habit building point of view. Same time, same place. Yeah, and same practice, ideally, but sometimes, yes, same time, same place, and same practice. So this session is recorded, and I'm sure, Louise, you probably have a link for people as well, right? If they want to follow along too.
Yeah, so hopefully this will be up in the membership site in the membership area later today, I'm hoping, if I've got enough storage. So look at it under the online retreat in there, and it's there. But where else can we, so we can come? You're doing live sessions, aren't you?
Yes, I am actually. Thanks for reminding me. So I do live meditations every Monday evening. British time is 7:30 p.m. on Monday on Instagram and on Facebook Live. This is my website link where all of the recordings are online, and there's more information on that web link as well for the Monday sessions. I'm doing Friday morning sessions as well, and all the information is just there if you want to meditate along with me. I go through very similar processes to what we did today as well. But yeah, just to check in with your breath, you know, like usually what happens when we are busy is everything starts to get tight and tense and we're just breathing up into here. That's why the first exercise that I did with kind of really dropping into the belly breath is just a very practical, easy way to immediately reduce stress.
That's
cool.
Did you put those links? Will you put those links in the Facebook group as well when you get a chance?
Yes, I'll do that.
That'd be really good. So people have got them because they'll go.
Cool.
And it's quite interesting. Because I know the personalities of a lot of these people in here, and I know what I'm like, and I don't take time out from this. But Kim, did you enjoy that? Because I know, you know. Hold on, you can unmute yourself. I'm just quite intrigued to find out. Oh God, sorry. Go on.
I'm unmuted. Yes. I find myself, I nod off if I'm not careful, because I've mentally trained myself that if I can get my body to relax, my eyeballs sort of roll back, and that's me gone. And I've always been able to do that and just say, I can have 5 minutes, I can have 10 minutes, I can have half an hour, and I've always been able to time it. I think I can put it on the one hand the number of times I've overslept or overdone anything. So I've always managed to be able to put off and on a bit like that.
But did you find this experience a bit different? Because I certainly did.
Yes, you sort of go to another place.
Mm.
I did come back and I thought, oh golly, where have I been? Have I been asleep or have I been listening? And I'm not quite sure whether I drifted off or whether I was just doing something else. I'll tell you.
Yeah. It's just another level of consciousness, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Tracy,
Yes,
did
you're
you
right,
enjoy
yeah.
that? Yeah, it was.
It's all frozen.
And I think that might be it. I'll unmute you. There you go. You're unmuted if you're.
Sorry, I've just posted in the comments. I've been working all day. My heart's been racing, but I think it's just adrenaline. So I wanted to get to this session to try and calm it down. So it worked. Thank you.
That's brilliant.
Nice. I'm glad.
Good, fantastic. You did freeze a little bit, Jamie, going through that, but it wasn't long, so it was yeah, it was good. But I hope everyone really enjoyed that. I know
Yes.
I did, and I think actually I'll ask the question in the Facebook group, but it's about making time for doing it, isn't it? Which I am learning through lockdown that I need to do a little bit more. So yeah. So maybe we'll put a commitment to each other in the Facebook group.
Yeah, totally. And actually what I've learned, like just through coaching, and this is what I work with a lot of my wellness coaching clients, is if you don't schedule it, it won't happen.
No,
You
yeah,
just gotta put it in your diary where there's a notification that pings you, you know. And even if you feel like you're too busy, maybe if you tag it along to like, what are your routines during the day? What's easy is like the morning wake up or the evening wind down, right? Or maybe even if you want to try before lunchtime or after lunchtime. And it can be simply like be a 5-10 minute thing, just like you do a 10-minute Pilates session in the morning. It's just 10 minutes. Like that's why I started off with that breath work technique in the beginning, because that's a really short, easy. That was like what, 5 minutes, not even, you know. So if you do that little and often throughout your day, that will already help. Even if it's just once a day, it will already help.
Thank you.
no, that's brilliant. Thank you very much, Jamie. I really appreciate your time for doing that as well.
No worries. Thank you so much, Louise, and thank you for your presence, ladies.
No, thank you.